Fly. This here recapping, predicting the World Junior Championship, U18 Women's World, the Men's World Championship, Women's World Championship, the U18 Men's World Championship. What is happening?
It is by far one of the dumbest things I have ever seen.
Prepare to die. Figured it was better safe than sorry.
Scores! Nathan McKinnon scores for Canada. Your home for international hockey. This is On the Fly. And hello everybody, and welcome back to On the Fly, your home for international hockey. We got ourselves a good one today as we have the USA taking on Finland in the first set of today's games, as well on the other game today, Canada taking on Denmark. Should be a good day of action here. We will see who ends up on top today. You look at these two teams, we'll start with USA and Finland. It'll be a good game between these two teams. Both teams looking to try and earn that second spot or better over in the Group A standings. For the US, they've already lost to Switzerland so far at this tournament. So for them, now it's a matter of desperation to try and end up in that, try and get to that top spot. Their best hope of doing so will be in a three-way tiebreaker, where if they can go out, because Switzerland's already beat the US goes out and beats Finland. If Finland then goes out and beats Switzerland, then you have a three-way tiebreaker. So for today, for the US, they're not only trying to win, they're trying to win by quite a few goals to get their goal differential up, which will help them in that eventual tiebreaker for sure. Welcome on in, everybody. Thank you very much for being here on this beautiful Monday morning or afternoon or nighttime, I guess, depending on where you are watching from today. For our friends over in Finland, which would be, I guess, past the 5 o'clock mark. A big thank you to everyone for tuning in as we'll head over to our chat and see what people are saying. Drop your score predictions in the chat as well as hit the like button. Subscribe if you have not already. We did just hit 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube. So a big thank you to everyone for hitting that subscribe button. That truly means a ton. We have some Finland flags in our chat early today. 4-1 Finland score prediction, 4-3 for Finland. Hoping for a Finnish victory. I'm sure the Lion can snatch the Eagle. Finland 3-0. Canada 7-1 over the Danes. I would say there is a pretty common trend here with the US, or with the Finns ending up taking this game. I'm rooting for Finland. It'll be nice if Germany and Latvia go to the playoff and the USA not. That would be pretty cool to see if Latvia then can go pull off an upset against the Americans, which I wouldn't say is that far-fetched, to be completely honest. You never really know at these kind of tournaments. Probably not going to happen. They would have to beat Austria. I could see, and else for Latvia, they should be considered favorites going into their game against Austria. It will be a difficult game for sure. I mean, the Austrians, we've seen them have success against Latvia in the past. That's not too surprising, but you never really know. Of course, Austria's very strong. If they go to the quarterfinals, Austria's probably my dark horse. So they have 6 points. They win Latvia. Legionnais. Some cheering for Finland. I have zero faith in Germany this time. Congrats on 2K. Thank you very much. Congrats. Thank you. Finland 4-1. You got this 2K. Yep. Got that earlier this morning. Pretty much right before we went live, actually. We hit that milestone here on the channel. 3-1 for Finland. We will see whether or not that score prediction's right. I did have 4-2 and 5-1. 4-2 and 5-1, 4-2 Finland, 5-1 for Canada over the Danes. And so we are just about underway for puck drop here. USA and Finland in the first game. The other big game here between Canada and the Danes. We'll see who comes out and who prevails in today's game. Should definitely be a good one here. If you are new here, be sure to smash the like button, hit the subscribe button as well. Vote in our poll who you think is going to end up taking today's game, whether it be whether it be USA or Finland here, as they are a marquee feature of the day. Canada and Denmark as well will be playing along in that background type of game. So stay tuned for coverage of that game as well. But we got ourselves a good one here. Finland, the USA battling for the top spot, somewhat of the top spot over in Group A. Canada, Denmark. Canada looking to try and continue their success from this tournament. We will see for the Danes whether they can pull off the upset like they did 1 year ago at the Men's World Championship. Puck is dropped and we are underway for Finland and USA. Puck is dropped and we are underway in Canada and Denmark. Puck played back. Early chance for the Finns as a turnover there in the offensive end for the USA. Puck played around. And we sent the length of the ice for icing there. Finland with some early offensive zone possession time. Makes it a bit of a scare early on here for the U.S. team. Red hot start for the Finns. We're in Canada, Denmark, but have some neutral zone slog to start this game. The Danes looking to keep this one as close as they possibly can through the first few minutes. If they can do that, they'll be very successful in this game. Shot. Turned away. Shot. Rebound. Blocked out front by the Canadians. As the Finns now win the draw back. Vakanainen at the point for Finland. Turns the corner. Pass shot. Looking for Heino there on the one-timer. Puljujarvi with the puck now. Passes it forward. Shot. Good save there on the Barkov one-timer. Wall up to the task early here today. Mananen passes it over. Slides it down to Barkov. Barkov with a move to the front of the net. Goes for goal. Gets broken up on his way there. Vakanainen. Oh, and the puck poked off him. Back comes the U.S. 2-on-1 emerging. Shot. Saved. Good save there by Annunen. Good stop there for the Finns. Finland will work back up ice. Mananen sends it over. Nice move there by Barkov. Looking at the backdoor feed to Puljujarvi, but cannot push it home. The puck will come rim back up around the boards. Dump down deep, and that will go the length of the ice for icing. A good start to this one for the Finns as their top line stays hot. Looking to try and get on the board early here. I see a key to success for this team. And out to play it for the Finns. Jokiharju passes over Ehrholtz. We'll dump it down, try and shoot into Rat2, but broken up. And the Finns now, or the U.S. rather, will break back up ice. U.S. with the puck. Shot. Turned away by Annunen. Puck rimmed around the boards. Clifton nearly gets the puck poked off him. Tavares now with a shot for Canada. Flips up over the net. So the U.S. will dump it down deep. Pick up the puck and wheel with it. Moore now with the puck. Moore with a nice pass to the point. Shot turned away by Annunen. As the Finns will flip it up to center ice. Connor Clifton back for the Americans to play this one. Passes out front. Oh, and a nice move there, but tied up was Mananen there on the opportunity. Shot from the point. As the Americans now move back up ice. Sends it forward. I chose the wrong goalie for the Canada in the fantasy game. Who is starting? Is it? I assume it's Tal, or is it Talbot? Probably starts today, right? Because Greaves would start. Well, maybe not. Maybe it is Greaves. Actually, not sure. I didn't catch who started today for the Canadian team. Plant slides it forward. Vakanainen. Gosh, I hate the Kachuk brothers. I didn't think he was in the lineup today. Yeah, no, he's not in the lineup quite yet, but reinforcements coming at some point through the tournament. Plant works over the line for the Americans. Slides it out. Takes it. Will work back in the Americans will. Dumps it down. Plant from the low angle shot. Turned away by Annunen. And now the Finns will work back up ice. Barkov over to Hamihaho. Slides it into the skates of Mananen. And the U.S. now will work back up ice. A flip play there. Kaiser for the American team. Almost able to get to that puck. But it'll be kept in at the line. The Americans now with it. But turned over, and the Finns will break it back up ice. Bit of a slow start to this one so far. Puck will be played around. Puljujarvi with it. Over to Ratu. Slides it over. Cotter. Throws it over to Plant. Monanen. Kachuk will come next game. That makes sense. I mean, the truth is, for the American team, they only need to really make the playoffs. They don't need to win every game in the playoffs. Their seed doesn't matter that much. If they're at their best, they can still contend. As a nice stretch pass there. The U.S. works in, tries to throw it over, but broken up there by Sarjärvi. Erholtz touch pass down to Mata. Mata will flip it in. Wall out to play it for the Americans. Slides it over his defense. Looking for the stretch pass there, but broken up at center ice by the Finns. Finns now work in with it. Slide it around. To the point. Shot. Misses wide of the net. Monpalo now with the puck for Finland. Knocked off his edges and more for the Americans now. We'll skate it up ice. We'll try and go for a stretch pass. Trying to connect with Ryan Leonard, who will beat the icing call here. Leonard wheels with it. Loses possession. Will come back out to neutral ice. Oh, and a turnover there. 2-on-1 emerging for the Finns. Works in. Shot. Scores! Finland gets on the board first off a neutral zone turnover. And Finland has got on the board today. Lenny Heminihaho with the goal to make it 1-0 for the Finns. A red-hot start in this one. Ryan Leonard loses the puck twice on that possession, goes for the body, and Heminihaho does not makes them pay. Great shot there, just over the glove or the pad on the glove side, and Finland will now lead by 1. Sends it out to the point. We'll rim it around to Lundell. The Americans now work back up ice. Oh, a nice stretch pass there. The Americans back right in. Looking for the pass. Broken up. Nice play there by the Finns. 13:10 left to go in this first period. Finland in the lead by a goal over the USA. Pass stretches up to Puljujarvi. Tries to pass across, broken up. And they'll take it back within their own end. Shot turned away. Barkov over to Monanen. And Luttonen now will clear it up for the Finns. Sarjärvi moves it up over to Puljujarvi. Puljujarvi with the puck, tries to fade it forward to Ratu. It's up getting broken up. And more now for the Americans will break back up ice. Moore with a nice move. Passes it over. Shot. Scores. Matt Coronado on the one-timer. Ties the game at 1. The U.S. has awoken. USA 1, Finland 1. Matt Coronado with the one-time goal off the pass from Moore. A great play there and a great shot to roof it. USA on the board. Bjorninen wins the face-off draw for Finland. Smata will move it around. Low ride pinches down low. The U.S. works back in. Howard trying to find Coronado on the backside, unable to get it there. Monpalo moves it over to Mata. Mata over to Pustola. Pustola shifts out. Brings the puck in with him into the offensive zone. Mirala now. Bjorninen works it back up to the point to Monpalo. Monpalo down to Bjorninen. But Coronado breaks it up, and he'll look back up ice. They tied it really quickly. They really did. It was a short lead for that Finnish team. Howard moves it over, back up to the point. Shot from the point, misses wide of the net. And an odd man rush following here for Finland. Pustola shot, scores! Finland gets right back on the board. 2-1 Finland. A turnover in the offensive end leads to numbers coming back for Finland, and Patrick Pustola ends up putting it home to make it 2-1 for the Finns. Great shot there. It's been a pretty entertaining start to this one so far, with Finland getting 2 goals and the U.S. scoring one of their own. We will see what the response time is for the U.S. team on this attempt. What was that defense? Brutal. Just brutal. Pass, shot, saved there by Greaves. Canada and Denmark still tied at zeros 12 minutes in. They're 8 minutes into their period. Puck won back by the Americans. Low rag at the point. Cycles it over to Falk, his partner. Kind of whistles through Anden with the cover-up, and we'll head to our first power break, I believe, of this game between Finland and the U.S. 10:52 left to go in the period. If you are new here, please do smash the like button and hit the subscribe button if you have not already. We're now on the road to 3,000 subscribers, as we did just hit the 2,000 milestone today. A big thank you to everyone for hitting the subscribe button and helping us get to that point. Could not have done it without you. As well, we will check in on the status of our poll, which, if you remember back to yesterday, was a pretty good indication of how this game was going to end up going. The Latvians overwhelming favorites in their game against the Germans. Sweden overwhelming favorites in their poll against the Danes. Finland leads here 81% to 19%, 42 votes registered. If you have not already, be sure to get your voice heard in our live poll. As well, smash the like button on your way down to that poll as you want to keep bumping up those numbers. Or something like that. Greaves out to play it for the Canadians. Always get worried when I see a goaltender playing the puck these days. Sparkov will line up in the face-off dot for Team Finland. Danny Nelson in the dot for the American team. The Danes will flip it down deep. Vakanainen passes it up the glass, and Falk back to get it for the U.S. Stretch pass by Falk, broken up there, and the Finns will dump it down deep and go and chase. Low ride back to get it for the Americans, and he coughs up the puck, but Falk able to bail him out there. Puck comes out to neutral ice. Vakanainen back to get it for the Finns. That will be an icing call there. Icing as well over in the Canada game. Bouchard back for the Canadians to touch up there. So showing that last goal, Lenny Hamanihaho with the goal. Turnover in neutral ice by Ryan Leonard. Comes all the way back to bite them. We talk a lot about how mistakes get punished by a team like the Finns, especially at these tournaments. You have to be very careful with making mistakes because they normally do end up in the back of your net. Lehtinen works down low, shot, looking for some traffic in front wall. Unable to get there, but misses over the net. Bouchard passes up. As we're under 10 minutes in this first period, 10 minutes into this game. Oh, Holloway just got absolutely lit up there for the Canada game. Cousins across. Jokiharju over to Lehtinen. Tries to feed it out, but broken up. Oh, and the U.S. had a prime opportunity there, unable to get to the net. Shot, rebound saved. Bouchard to Minton, shot. Minton misses the net. Ratu gets the puck poked off him. And the U.S. now will break back up ice. Oh, nice play back by Vakanainen to turn away that dump chance. Vakanainen works back. Smirlainen works in for the Finns, but the puck will jump all the way back out to neutral ice. Finland dumps it right back down deep. As the Americans collect it, rim it around the boards. Here comes Cotter. Cotter drops it off. Over to Plant. Plant taken down, no call. Cotter with it. Sends it down low. It's Mata with it. Mata tries to drop it back. A little bit of panic there, but Bjornanen now with the puck for the Finns. Bjornanen drops it off. Skates on in. Shot. Mananen with that opportunity and a little bit of rough stuff after the whistle there. But nothing to show for it. USA really needs to stop losing the puck at the blue line and build up. Completely agree. I mean, they've kind of struggled in that aspect a little bit as well. Would it be funny if Denmark did it again? It really wouldn't be. In fact, that would actually not be funny at all. That would be rather sad. It wouldn't surprise me though to see the Danes end up getting that first goal of the game and making it a lot more exciting than what it needs to be. Watching this match on TV right now while listening to the live stream, well, I appreciate you tuning in today. Minton with the puck. Over in Canada's USA and Finland is on their power break. Roughed up over in the corner. Connor Brown with it. Brown up to Nurse. Shot from the point. Rebounds loose. A lot of deflections out front. White Cloud with it. Over to Connor Brown. Connor Brown coughs up the puck. Back. Loses it again. Unable to stay on his feet there. The puck will be chipped around. Olsen now fires it up. And the Danes now break in with numbers. But the Canadians able to break it up. And now they come back the other way. Connor Brown with the puck. Looking for Cousins. Shot. Tip play in front. Cousins unable to slide it past Henriksen. Puck will be rimmed around Matinpalo for the Finns. Slides it down to Pulviarvi. Over to Barkov behind the American net. Barkov waits with it. Shot by Matinpalo. Misses over the net there. Finns have been getting their chances early on in this game. They're getting a lot of chances early on in this game. We'll see whether or not they will continue to be successful. Oh, nice play there. Waits with it, shoots, and good save there by Greaves. Canadians with a little bit of defensive zone meltdown there. Nelson chips it into Jokiharju. Lundell works up with it. Shot from the point, rebounds loose, ends up getting cleared out. Oh, and a turnover there. Oh, and Plant with a prime opportunity, but then ends up breaking his stick. And that, I believe, will end up being a penalty call for slashing, as the U.S. will head to their first power play of the game. Prime opportunity here for the U.S. to get back tied again. We'll see whether or not they can get the job done. Why is the focus on USA versus Finland here instead of Canada and Denmark? Just curious, as you're Canadian. Yeah, it's more so to do with just the interest level on the game, and B, the fact that this Canada-Denmark game will be interesting for the first probably period, and then it'll get a little bit less interesting after that part. So Finland and the U.S. is probably the best game of this day overall, and then Sweden and the Czechs would be a close second. And so that's why they're both marquee matchups. But we're still keeping a very close eye on the Canada and Denmark game. So Falk fires it around. Is that going to be another penalty? Is we going to play 4-on-4? As Ryan Leonard will go to the box. For the Americans, I believe it will be called for a trip, potentially interference. But the U.S. will take a penalty. They will lose their power play. We'll play 4-on-4 for about 40-ish seconds before we proceed to the Finnish power play. And Leonard took down Ratu, which is the reason for the call. Coach Don Granato not very happy about that call. Finland 4-on-4 opportunity here. 7 minutes left to play, or 6:30 left to play in the period. Sends it across over to Vakanainen. Vakanainen now over to Bjornanen. Bjorn with a nice move there. Could have been called offside, but ultimately wasn't. And the puck will come back for the Finns. And they'll collect it behind their own net. Lehtinen now. Moves it up ice to Ratu. Ratu with the puck shot. Scores! Ratu. 4-on-4 makes it 3-1 for the Finns. And Joseph Wall, seeing ghosts again, doesn't know how that one beat him. And Ratu scores for Finland. 3-1. Spoilers? I think that the way the system works, I'm pretty sure I'm just ahead of you. I'm still about a minute ahead, I think. Or maybe it's 30 seconds of stream delay from when it's actually recorded to when it posts. So I don't see you guys posting in the chat before it goes in, so don't worry. Wall should have absolutely had that. You are exactly right. As the U.S. now looking for an answer back. 35 seconds left to go on the 4-on-4 before Finland will have a very short power play. Annunen out to play it. He'll drop it off to Sarjärvi. Sarjärvi with the puck now works in for the Finns. Sarjärvi over to Mikkola, who sent it down. Or Mata, rather. Mikkola. Wrong tournament. And Wall just completely misses that, eh? Is it tipped? Oh, it was tipped. It's tipped by his own defender. Kaiser there gets the shot tipped off him. But Finland will lead here by a score of 3-1. A red-hot start for the Finns today. The kind of start they really wanted, because now they can kind of sit back in their defensive structures. We've seen them do just about every game they've played so far. But that will do it for the 4-on-4. Oh, and a turnover! Sasson with the prime opportunity, but turned away by Annunen there, right as we were changing up the graphics. Nearly going back the other way, but the Finns will retain it. Not sure why that's the wrong color of blue. Barkov slides it over. Back to Barkov, shot. This is the outside post. Mannin, and a turnover there. The U.S. works back in. Sasson again for the American team. And he'll rim it around the boards. That'll do it for the Finnish power play. Thank you very much for subscribing. Puck will be shot up and out. And I believe it would have tipped off the glass. We'll head to another power break here between Finland and the USA. Finland in the lead 3-1 with 4:13 left to go in the first period. Over in Canada and Denmark, we have Canada and Denmark still knotted at zeros. The game that we kind of coined as a not a great game all of a sudden has looked pretty good thus far. Canada unable to get much going against the Danes. They've had a few chances, but unable to capitalize on any of them thus far. 5:10 left to go in the first period. We'll see whether or not they can find their way back in this game. Celebrini over to Bouchard. Bouchard shot blocked up top. USA Finland still in their power break. Celebrini now works down to Crosby. Crosby with the puck. Dipsy doodles down in the Danish end. Martone with the puck. Martone with it. Pushes it back for Celebrini, captain of Team Canada. Up to Bouchard. Bouchard works it over. Walks in. Shot. Looking for the rebound there. But Henriksen up to the task for the Danes. So we're just about back here for the other game, our main game, our marquee game of the day between Finland and the USA. Dude, you're doing God's work here. Yourself and the dude who runs the Hockey Worldwide Instagram account are the real MVPs. Props to the dedication, content you for every tournament we've done. Appreciate you tuning in. Really couldn't do it without any of you guys watching, so appreciate everyone for tuning into these streams. Really does mean a ton, and for all the post-day recap videos and all of those good ones, all the shorts and all the YouTube videos and all the short form stuff. So once again, really do appreciate everyone for tuning in. But the puck has dropped and we are back underway for USA and the Finns. Puck rimmed around and shot out. Ufko back to collect it for the Americans. Oh, throws on the brakes there. Coronado will wind it up for the American team. Shot down deep. Mata back for the Finns. Up to Madanpalo. Sorry, Arvi. I will be honest, it is starting to worry me a little bit about this Canada-Denmark game. Danes turnover shot over the net from Greaves. Shot again. Rebound chance right in front of the net. The Danes can't find the back there. Shot again. A lot of traffic in front. So Finns work back in. Shot. Misses wide of the net. 2-on-1 emerging there for Team Finland. Jokiharju back for Lehtinen. Lehtinen works it up to Ratsu. Ratu dumps it down deep for Hemini Haho to go and chase, but Lohrei back for the American team will take the puck. And the Americans will try and get it out of their own zone. Hagens, with a risky pass there, puts it right in front of his own goaltender. Lohrei with the puck for the Americans, collects it and calms it down. 2:35 left to go in the first period between Finland and the USA. 2:54 over in Canada and Denmark. Both games ticking down about the same pace here. Sasson now working for the American team. Olivier works in. Oh, and knocked out. Sasson nearly with another turnover at the blue line. The Finns would have come all the way back down for sure. Cotter gets rubbed over by Puljujärvi. Monpalo with the puck. Tries to move over to Heinlux. Gets it in the skates. Dumps it back. The Americans, though, keep it in. Shot from long distance. Saved by Enninen. And back up come the Finns here. Curious if Crosby's going for his revenge this year. Well, I'm sure he is. Especially after last year's embarrassment. You'd really hope so. Bouchard tries to send it over. Minton throws it out front, trying to find Cousins. Cannot find it through Whitecloud. Passes it over. If this game's still tied 0-0 in the third, we'll switch coverage over to this game. But for now, I think this U.S. team is poised for a pretty big, pretty exciting comeback there. And Canada will head to the power play. A tripping call there against the Danes, as Malte Setkov will go to the box for Team Denmark. And we will see whether Canada can get the job done on their opening power play of the game. So far, Crosby has only 1 point, but I think he'll improve. I would agree. Part of it, too, is just kind of getting yourself adapted to bigger ice surface, playing with the players you're playing with, because obviously it's a little bit different than what you do in your season. So there's definitely a bit of a learning curve there as the Americans work in. Leonard shot, misses wide of the net. Lowry passes it down deep to Steves. Steves with it. Winds it around, drops it off to Novak. Novak back to Steves. Steves walks in with it. Holds back, looking for the pass to the slot to Novak. Broken up. Steves with the puck. Rims it back and kept in by Novak. The puck stays in at the line to Lowry. Drops it off to Leonard. Ryan Leonard with the puck. Rims it down. Tries to shoot it out. And all of a sudden, a turnover. And the Finns work back up ice. That should be a penalty, surely. Purstula taken down, and Team Finland will go to another power play here. We will see whether they can score their fourth of the game. Nice play there by Celebrini. As Finland will head to another power play with the wrong color in the graphic. Moves it over. Bouchard. Scheifele down to Celebrini. Celebrini wheels with it over to Bouchard, looking for to be a slap pass. He will keep it at the line, though. Bouchard slides it over. Takes it. Celebrini down to Crosby. Crosby with it now. Slides it over to Celebrini. Celebrini up to over to Crosby. Crosby behind the net for Canada. 35 seconds left to go in this period. Scheifele works it down, back up top. Scheifele with it. Passes back up to the point. Bouchard walks the line. Scheifele with it. Scheifele shot. Gloved up by Henriksen. USA late chance here, but the buzzer goes, I do believe, and it will not go. Finland and the USA. 3-1 Finland after the first period of play as we will head into the intermission for this one. 10 seconds left to go in Canada and Denmark. Crosby with the puck. Shot. Oh, and Scheifele. Puck bounced up on him there. Shot again. Misses wide of the net. Crosby there. Last chance. Celebrini shot. Good save there by Henriksen. And that'll do it for that period as well. 0-0 tie between Canada and Denmark. Giving you flashbacks yet or what? Not again. As we mentioned, if this game does remain tied going into the third period, we will have third period coverage for that one. Could that be a penalty shot? I would say so. The issue is that there's two guys who did it, so who are they going to call for the penalty shot? But absolutely, there could be a penalty shot off that play. Bit of a strange one for sure. But that'll be our first intermission report. A reminder to please hit the like button and subscribe if you have not already. A big thank you to everyone for 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube. We did hit that earlier this morning, and so a big thank you to everyone. Next goal up is 3,000, I guess, or 2,500, I guess. It's kind of that next big one. We'll say 3,000 for now. It looks like a much cooler number. But a big thank you to everyone for hitting that subscribe button. Really means a ton. But as far as we typically like to talk in our first game, because the last few days we've had morning games to talk about, with the 6:20 a.m. Eastern time games being that opening slot, and then 10:20 is the ones that we've been going live for, with typically either 2:20 depending on the timing. But with not having that today, instead, we will take a look back on a few of the big upsets at this tournament, kind of take a look back to yesterday. We had our post-day recap video, which came out late last night, and so we posted that. That's been out there for a little bit, so if you want to go check that out, it's a very long video, but we talked quite extensively about the day that was, and previewed today's games as well. A reminder that we do have in our predictions 4-2 for Finland to end up beating the US, and 5-1 for the Americans to go, or for Canada to go through and go unbeat Denmark. Should be interesting to see who ends up on top in those games, especially for this Canada-Denmark one, which reminds you very similar to last year's quarterfinal match between these two teams. You think back to that tournament, Canada nearly lost, right? And they did lose, but they had a lead through most of it, and then right at the very end, they choke up that lead and allowed 2 quick goals, which end up costing them in that game. And so for a team like Canada, it does remind you a little bit about that, as kind of looking back on that game. It took Canada 45 minutes to score the first goal before Denmark pulled their goaltender with basically 2:30 left to go. They score shortly thereafter, and then they end up within the last minute, 49 seconds left to go. Of course, Denmark ends up scoring that winning goal, and then Canada was knocked out of last year's tournament. We spent quite a bit of time talking about Canada in that day recap video. It's actually our most viewed video now on YouTube, but it's funny to see just kind of how poor the Canadian team played at that tournament, and so we will see. Let's see here. What do we have? I thought that one in for real. 14-5 in shots for Canada, and still 0-0. That's part of the beauty of it, is it doesn't really matter how many shots you take. If they don't go in, they don't count for a whole lot. But Canada has had the majority of the possession. They've been able to generate quite a few chances. They just need to try and get to those dirty areas and find the back of the net. If they can do that, they will be extremely successful at this tournament and in this game. We'll also answer your live questions. So if you have any questions, be sure to drop those in the chat, whether it be on the tournament or beyond. Where do you think Bjork gets selected at the draft? I think so. Different people have him at different spots. As far as where I would take him, I'd say he should be definitely a top 8 pick, but I can appreciate that he will likely go around the 10th overall spot. He hasn't had a big breakthrough tournament yet, like we were kind of hoping that he would, but still a very good player. We'll see what he can end up doing at this tournament. Time will tell on that account. But yeah, as I said, he's a very good player. He's probably one of the best players in the draft. His issue is that he's just small. If he's 6'2", 6'3", 6'1", he probably goes number 1 at this draft. Unfortunately for him, he's just undersized, and so because he's undersized, he lacks in a few different areas, and unfortunately just hasn't really been able to keep up with it, and that's part of the reason why he's lower. But still a very good player, probably one of the best, and especially at this draft, but probably won't go that high because of his smaller stature. Finns need to score another one and try and sit on that lead. I would agree. I think you look at this Finnish team, they will start on the power play, which will be a huge help for them. But the Finns have really done that all tournament long in both of their starting games so far. They get up early, they hold on to it, and they just sit on it, right? And they did that against Germany. They did that against Hungary yesterday as well. And they're going to keep trying to do that again. Prediction on Buffalo-Montreal Game 7. I hope for this Men's World Championship tournament that Buffalo ends up winning. I'm also a Bruins fan, so I hope Buffalo ends up winning. As far as prediction goes, I think this game is going to be a must-watch. I think it could go absolutely either way. I'm excited to see how this game ends up playing out. Two teams who are extremely efficient against one another. We'll see who ends up taking the cake and winning. It should be interesting. Sometimes the puck just doesn't go into the net, but I think Canada will win today. I think so as well. I think it takes a little bit as long as they just keep going north. We've seen in years past with a team like Canada where they struggle, right? Where they do struggle a little bit, but especially against kind of weaker teams. But we'll see, because obviously for a team like Canada, if they last through the first period, if they come back out of the gate hot, they'll eventually score one. The issue is, will they make a bunch of mistakes before then trying to force things? Because that's what we've seen in years past from them. And obviously it hasn't worked because they keep losing to teams they're not supposed to. So we'll see here whether or not that's going to be the case again, which would be very unfortunate for this Canadian team, especially after the tournament that this is and all the pressure that's on them after a really disappointing year for Canadian hockey. You think about all the tournament losses, whether it be start at the World Juniors, where of course they lost to the Czechs in that semifinal. Then they lost at the U18 Women's Worlds to the U.S. team. And then the Olympic Games, they lost both the men's and the women's Olympic Games to the U.S. We were live for that women's game. It was an absolute heartbreaker. And then, of course, the Canada one, and then the men's one a little bit later on, even more disappointing as well, considering they lost both tournaments. Really, really tough one there. And then, although we did predict that score actually and the overtime part, so I guess that goes to show that at least some of our predictions have done right. Although our predictions this tournament have done pretty well as well. It's been a good overall tournament for us so far. We'll see whether or not they continue, obviously, into today. A bit of a more high-scoring game than what we anticipated in that original prediction video between Finland and the U.S. and a bit of an underwhelming game between Canada and the Danes. We'll see whether or not they'll be able to correct themselves here, but it should be fun to watch as they're showing that Ratu goal again. Wall has to have that shot. If you are the American goaltender, that's a save that if your team gets, this game is completely different, right? And unfortunately for him, just unable to make that key save, and it's a difference maker in this game. But we get some face reaction when Canada gets knocked out. If this game gets tied into that third period, we're going to switch coverage immediately. I would say that realistically, you are expecting him to. I'm expecting this game to kind of open up in the second period, but if it does, or if it doesn't, then Canada-Denmark is going to absolutely switch over, because likely by that point the Finns will be sitting in their defensive structure and it'll be most of a slog for the back half of the period, because that's kind of what Finland does. They go up, then they sit on their lead, and they don't allow a team like the U.S. to end up coming back. So we'll see whether or not they're going to continue that pace going forward today, but it will be interesting. Czechia losing to Slovenia gives Canada a little bit of breathing room in the standings, but you don't want to squander it right away. For sure it does. But yeah, and as you say, you don't want to squander it because you can absolutely lose that kind of game, right? And it's an unfortunate part of it where if you are the Finns or if you are Canada, the Canadians, you want to win this game, right? And if you can win this game, it sets you up well. The fact that Czechia lost to Slovenia is fine. The issue now is that you have to worry about a whole other team, and that's the Slovaks, who all of a sudden, if they go out and beat the Czechs, which I'd say is much more likely now than what we saw at the start of the tournament, Then all of a sudden, we'll see the Czechs actually coming up later today in our marquee matchup for the second day of action, which will be coming up in about 3 hours' time. We'll be live here back on YouTube. For our final stream of this week, we will be back maybe next weekend for some live streams, Saturday and Sunday potentially. Saturday, there are the 3 games, 3 time slots. Maybe we'll do Latvia and the U.S. kind of early morning, 6:20 a.m. Could be a good game there. And then I'd say probably the Slovaks and the Czechs would probably be our schedule, assuming we do go live. Austria and Germany, the marquee matchup at the 2:20 slot as well. So we'll probably end up putting out a poll asking for people to kind of vote on it to see which game they'd prefer if we are going to go live on the 23rd, the 24th. Not a whole ton of great games, I don't suspect. Slovakia, Canada would be the only one that I'd say is really worth, that's really going to be a good game on that day. Great Britain, Latvia should be a Latvian win, although that game could have some pretty big implications, as if Latvia ends up winning that game, if they end up beating Austria tomorrow, then it could very well mean that this Latvian team ends up making the playoff rounds. And so in that context, maybe we will end up going live for that game as well, but we will see. On the thumbnail, yes, absolutely, yeah. And as soon as we switch, like if we do end up what we like to call switching coverage, that means that we will also switch the jerseys behind. It means we'll switch the thumbnail, the title, the description as well for this game. But our marquee matchup to start the day is Finland and the USA. So as long as that game remains close, we'll continue to stick with it until Canada starts to kind of choke this game against the Danes. And then we will probably pretty quickly switch over our coverage for that. We'll still be having our coverage of USA-Finland, just not necessarily the marquee matchup as of that point, but we will see. Have you seen anything from Milan Sundstrom yet? For me, he is a potential number 1 pick for 2027. I haven't seen too much from him. He wasn't at the U18s, and so I would say look for him at Hlinka Gretzky coming up. I would assume he's a under U17 player, so we'll likely see him at Hlinka. I'd expect him to see him at the next U18 tournament as well. As I said, I haven't seen too much on him. He could sneak into that number 1 pick, I think. I'm trying to think of who that draft is. I think it's Caleb Dupont. I think that's his year as far as who should be going in that number 1 spot. And so we'll see whether or not Sundstrom is going to be able to kind of sneak into that area. But I'd say for now, you can expect Dupont to kind of be that go-to guy. He's had a pretty good year as of now, and we'll see if he can continue that into next year's season. Obviously, his draft year coming up, that'll be a big opportunity for him there. We'll see kind of what ends up happening. Oh my goodness. I'm sorry about that. Last time Canada lost their 1 defending gold medal and didn't immediately take one back with their next opportunity. I wasn't born yet. Lost 1989 World Juniors. The next opportunity was 1989 at the Men's World Championships. Canada took a gold back at the 1990 World Juniors as well, from Nick the IIHF fan. And I mean, for Canada, I think more so it's just a disappointment factor, right? And it's not the fact that, and obviously they keep losing, and that's very frustrating to see as a Canadian, but it's the fact that it's time after time after time that we keep seeing the same old stuff. It just gets to a point where it's like, this team has to figure it out, surely. But I don't know. I think it's time after time with this team. They just can't quite figure it out, and I mean, we'll see, right? We'll see whether or not for Canada they can all of a sudden turn the corner. They've tried some coaching changes. The Women's World Championship coming up is going to be a disaster. It's going to be very bad because this Canadian team is not good, and it's been like that for a few years. And in our final recap for the Women's World Championship, or for the Women's Olympic Games, I guess, we kind of went through a little bit of a trilogy on how the Canadian women's national program has gone so far downhill over the last few years, and it's been crazy. It's been absolutely crazy. How much of an impact do you think Mikael Granlund will have for Finland? I would say he's going to have a huge impact. He's the kind of player that you look to, I would say, to kind of, I don't want to say elevate a team like the Finns, but his two-way play is some of the best in hockey right now. You pair him up kind of with Barkov as a kind of a 1-2. There won't be a better 1-2 at this tournament. I mean, Crosby's in Canada, that's about comparable to Barkov nowadays. I don't know whether or not people even put Barkov above a guy like Sidney Crosby. I'd say they are extremely close. But you put Granlund in that lineup, a legitimate player, legitimate center. We'll see. I'm pretty sure Granlund's a center, actually. Now that I say that, I'm not as confident he's a center, but I'm pretty sure he's a center, is he not? Yeah, he's a center. A legitimate 1-2 center for this Finnish team, so to say, because we just saw him at the Olympics, and then all of a sudden I was starting to think, wait a second, is he actually a center, or is he phased out of that? But no, he's a center, and he'll be a legitimate one on this Finnish team, and I'm excited to see him when he eventually enters this lineup for this team, to see what he can do as well. Damian Klara is another guy I'd say to keep an eye out for. We'll see. Nicholas Sundstrom's son, makes sense. But yeah, no, I haven't heard too much about him over on the North American side. The 2027 draft class is still a bit out there, but I'm looking forward to seeing him. If he is kind of projected to be number one, he'll be at the Hlinka Gretzky coming up. I believe that'll be I think that's in August, as well as the World Junior Summer Showcase. Potentially we could see him there, but I highly doubt it, especially for a team like the Swedes, who will have a lot of returning guys there as well. But we are back underway for second period action in both our games. Puck is dropped in Finland and the USA. Reminder that Finland will start on the power play here for what could be potentially a very important power play to give the Finns a lead. There's nearly a shorthanded chance coming back the other way for the Americans. Start this period. Manninen will drop it back off to Lundell. Lundell walks in with it. Nearly gives it away there. Feed it over to Barkov. Barkov skates in with the puck. Barkov slides it over to the point to Manninen. Manninen fires it over to Barkov to Puljujarvi. Over to the half wall for Lundell. Lundell with the puck. Slides it behind the net to Puljujarvi. Over to Manninen. Back up to the point to Heinola. Heinola over to Barkov. Barkov back to Heinola at the point. Shifts it over to Lundell. Back to Heinola. Heinola waits for it. So Lundell looking for the pass to the slot. Manninen not able to bury it home. The puck will be fought for. Crosby with the puck. Canada's power play is done. Dangerous minute. Nearly a prime opportunity there. Celebrini with the puck for the Canadians. Power play is done. Over for Canada. Shot. Saved by Henriksen. Manalainen. Cross seam pass to Lehtinen. Shot. Scores! Lenny Heminiaho with the second goal of the game puts Finland up 4-1. And the Finns are starting to run away with this one. Finland 4, USA 1. And a great shot there by Heminiaho. Lehtinen over. Wow. And a great shot there. Slides it within the post. Blocker's side on Wall. And Wall unable to get there. Ryan Leonard slams his stick in the box, unhappy about the penalty he took. And on the power play, Finland will get themselves their fourth goal of this game. Red hot start for them. Okay, we might end up switching our coverage over for this one. If the Finns score a fifth goal here, we'll likely end up switching over. This might be a day where we keep switching back and forth. Mata, jam play, scores! Finland 5, USA 1, a jam play in front, and this game is crazy. And I got called out for laughing at the U.S. team. This is why we laughed at their roster when it was announced. This is why. Wow. Finland, their 5th goal of the game. Oh, is that kicking motion though? It might be kicking motion. That's a great angle. That's helpful. It looks like it might have been kicking motion. I assume they'll challenge that. Oh no, and Wall just got the leash. Wall getting absolutely pulled, and the Finnish fan giving him the business. Devin Cooley now in net for the American team. But they will not challenge it. Ryan O'Reilly's shot misses wide of the net. 5-1 Finland over Team USA. Falk with the shot. Eninen slides it on back. Wow. In a crazy game here, Finland has taken the 5-1 lead. I figured Finland would end up taking this game. I mean, we talked about in our preview, the Finns should absolutely be considered favorites against the American team. But, wow. Wow. That is insane. Finland 5, USA 1. Who would have thunk? That's actually insane. Wow. Wow. Falk works in, shot, misses over the net. Wow. The U.S. just getting picked apart. Their goaltending unable to stop much. It's been a tough period for them. Tough start to this period for them. 2 very quick goals. Canada and Denmark still tied 0-0. 17 minutes left to play in the second period. We'll be switching our coverage over to that game at the end of the second period, assuming the USA-Finland game doesn't get too much farther out of hand, or if the Danes end up scoring here, we'll likely switch over to that one. But what a crazy game thus far for the Finns. A good start. Oh my goodness. Cousins with the puck for the Canadians. Connor Brown shifts up. Wotherspoon loses the puck. Flips it up. Back to Finland and the USA. Finland still in the lead with a 5-1 lead now over Team USA. As Cotter works in for the Americans. Gets worked over in the corner. Over to Olivier, who will cycle around the boards. (5-1) Finland. Insane. If you are new here, please do smash that like button, hit the subscribe button. We did just hit 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube, so big thank you to everyone for smashing the subscribe button. As the Finns now work back up ice. Oh no, and all alone again with a chance. Cooley misses, I guess the puck misses wide, but Cooley in the right positioning there. Shot in. Puistila. Again, Holloway jamming away for the Canadian team. Shot. Good save there by Cooley. Passes it across to Mata. Mata looking for the back feed. A lot of traffic in front. Mata with a nice move there. You have to wonder at what point do the Finns start to kind of collapse in like we've seen them do so many times at this tournament. Probably the one team aside from maybe Latvia that I would not want to be down in a game against. Very strong defensively. USA is having a hard time playing. They're under constant pressure. They really are. And it looks like every single time. Manalainen's shot kicks up over. Shot, rebound, chance. Cleared away. Puck will be cleared down. Steves with the puck. This puck will be chipped down. And stretch pass now for the American team. So throw on the brakes, try and stretch it across. Heinola kicks it over. But the Finns will turn it back. And they will look up ice. Oh, nice takeaway by Crosby there. Crosby feeds over to Bouchard's shot. Oh, and a great save there by Henriksen. As a little bit of jousting in front of the net. I assume the Finns will go back to the power play as Sam Lafferty is heading to the box. It's a high sticking call. Lafferty got high sticked in the face and then cross-checks Jokiharju square in the neck. Finland will head to another power play here where they'll look to try and make it 6-1. But yes, we will switch our coverage over. If they score on this, we will immediately switch our coverage over to Canada and Denmark. I will take a quick break just to get the studio set up for that, but I would highly expect this to be an ugly one. Celebrini works in over to Crosby looking for the feed. Cannot find it on the backside. Oh, a nice play there. Barkov slides it out. Shot turned away. Heinola again with the opportunity. Misses wide of the net. Barkov over to Manninen. Takes it. Slides it up. Over to Manninen. Takes it over. Tries to feed it across. Misses there. Barkov. The puck. Barkov fires it in. Kicks off the net. Oh, and taken down again. That no call coming. And I believe Denmark will go to the power play here. Bad news for the Canadians. Lundell behind the net. Sends it on over. Back up to the point to Heinola. Heinola down to Manninen. Manninen over to Lundell. Lundell up to Barkov. Barkov over to Heinola. Heinola back to Barkov. Barkov shot through traffic. Blocked out front. Heinola. Trying to send it around. Manninen knocks it down to Barkov. Barkov waits, shoots. Blocked out front. Barkov collects it again. Tired American penalty killers. Lundell over to Barkov. Barkov back up to the point to Heinola. Heinola back over to the wall to Barkov. Barkov down low looking for the jam play. Manninen able to keep it in though. Heinola shot. Blocked out front. Clifton will skate it up ice and ice it the length of the ice. Down the ice. So many ice to talk about. 13 minutes left to go in the Finnish power play, or in the period. You have 15 seconds left to go in the power play. As a high sticking call coming up against Canada here. Denmark's power play to this point, 3 for 8 so far in the tournament. Lettinen passes across. Tamnihaho. Oh, and looking for the backdoor feed. Good stop there by Olivier to break that up. Power play done for the Finns as the Americans work back in now. We rolled offside. As the Danes will collect it, move it over the line. Olesen will pick up the puck for Denmark. Olesen tip shot in front. Greaves able to make the save. Takes it. Passes it across. Walks in. Backdoor feed looking for the guy in front. Unable to for the Danes. Shot the length of the ice down. 13 minutes left to go in the second period between Canada and Denmark. Martone's penalty could potentially be the focal point of this game. Danes now work in, poked at the line, good play there. Cousins tries to break through, ends up getting broken up. Here comes back Denmark the other way. Denmark collects it, unable to get set up. Canada will dump the length of the ice down. 30 seconds left to go in the Danish power play. True now gets the puck poked off him, and that'll be lifted the length of the ice down. Danes work right back up now. Slides it back over to Russell. Russell passes it back for Denmark. Walks on in. Has it around. Nurse with the slap shot all the way around. Oh, and he hits Martone coming out of the box. Martone with the man. Martone shot. Turned away. $11:45 left to go in this second period. So Ufko walks in now. Gets the stick slashed out of his hands. Wanting a call. Finland now works in. Ends up losing the puck. Dumps it on out. Ufko with the puck for the Americans. He'll shoot it down. Manpalo back for Finland. Smata will cycle it up ice. How many players do the U.S. have on the ice right now? Nelson, Erholtz. Oh, and Poulsen nearly tips it home over Greaves. And that'll do it for the Danish power play. Shot. Oh, he missed it. That's a wide open net. Wow, that was a prime opportunity there, missed by Danny Nelson, all alone in front of the net by the looks of it. Oh, I have a very bad feeling about today already. I can feel it coming. You know what I mean? You know what I mean. Canada is about to lose another game, another upset game. Oh, and Nelson just completely misses it. A wide open net, tries to be too pretty with it. Oh, and just shells it over the wrong side. Endernen would nearly knock that into his own net. Martone fights on in. Martone, Crosby, and Celebrini out for the Canadian team. Cycles it up. Ufko. Oh, nice opportunity there. Ratu slides it up for Mannanen. Mannanen drops it off, tries to find Ratu, but can't connect. Puck will come back in. Slides it up to the top to Ufko. Ufko shot, turns away. The Americans work in with it. Taken away and cleared. Back up to neutralize. This probably goes for icing. Yes, it will. 10:14 left to go in the second period between Finland and the U.S. Slides it across, ruled offside at the line. Canada-Denmark still tied. 10 minutes into the second period. We are halfway through this game right now. Oh, this is going to end so poorly today. I already know what's coming. McKinnon Olympic feeling, right? Yeah, that's the one. Wow, it's the McKinnon Olympic feeling. It's the losing in overtime to the U.S. twice at the Olympics. It's the losing to the Czechs in the World Juniors. It's the losing to... It's actually just losing a lot. I'm starting to realize a common theme here. Canada loses a lot at these tournaments. Oh, I'm going to lose my mind, though, if Canada ends up losing this game. We've already lost, losing to the Slovaks in the U18s, losing to Sweden in the U18s. What other ones are there? Women's under 18s, losing to the Americans. Well, that game was probably the most understandable one of them all. Maybe the Olympic one was. Oh, getting blown out by the Americans at the Olympic Games from the women's side. That one wasn't fun. Yeah, safe to say it hasn't been a great international year for Canada so far. Lehtinen to Eminihaho, shot. Turned away by Cooley. Puck moved around. Puistila. Another heavy forecheck from the Finns. It's been a huge part to this game for them. They look good so far. Oh, and the Danes work in shot. Oh my goodness, good save there by Greaves as Minton comes flying back into the goaltender. Canada starting to have some issues. Coronado gets the puck broken up. And we'll head to the power break in Finland and the USA. Cousins works in, shot, misses over the net. They're actually going to lose this game. We do this every year. Every single year. And it never changes. It actually never changes. Which is insane, because you think at some point you realize that, hey, let's actually try and win a game for once. But nope. Nope, nope, nope. Same old, same old. So we are about to switch over our coverage onto Denmark and Canada, which I didn't suspect I was going to be doing today, but here we are nonetheless. Part of the joy of these tournaments, I guess. So, we will see. Obviously, Finland and the U.S. in an absolute blowout right now. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. Scheifele flips it in. I put Talbot. He's not playing. Yeah, that is brutal. I would have assumed Talbot would have started today too. But I guess Greaves ends up taking the net instead. Velarde turns the corner. Hands it off to Scheifele. Shot. Whiffs on it. Doesn't end up getting it through. Shot again. Misses. Blocked out in front again by the Danes. Finland still in the lead. 5-1 your score. Blowout fashion in this one. But we will be, at this point, the Americans start worrying about the fourth spot. I was starting to think about that yesterday as we were doing our day recap. Celebrini works in. Celebrini shot. Oh, misses again. I was kind of thinking about that yesterday, actually, as we were doing that day recap video. We hinted at it. Didn't spend too much time on it because this game obviously could have had very different implications. But if the U.S. ends up losing to Latvia, then they're the ones who are in that kind of three-way tiebreaker for the bottom half. And all of a sudden, that could get real interesting real quick, too. And Canada scores! Yay! Celebrini finally puts one in. It's about time. Whoop-de-doo. Yay! So lovely. Captain Canada Macklin Celebro. That just feels weird to say. Assisted by alternate captain Sidney Crosby. Even weirder to say. Was that going to be ruled offside, though? Oh, it 100% is going to be ruled offside. He didn't have possession of that puck. Slides it over to Heinola. Heinola walks in, shot, scores. Or doesn't score. What am I saying? Feels like every shot that they put in is going to be a goal, though. They're going to challenge it for offside. Yeah, they're going to challenge it. Calls under review, look to be offside in real time. We'll see whether or not it is. If this goal does get called, oh my goodness, Lundell now works in. How again shot, could say there by Cooley. Because the question's going to be is whether or not, or what point does he have possession? Oh, that's a great angle. They're showing the ref's backside. Because he doesn't really have, I guess he has possession there. It's actually Martone. Yeah, he's way offside. This goal is going to call back. We're about to switch our commentary over to Canada and Denmark here. So the Americans work in. After review of the play, the call on the ice is overturned. We have no goal. Canada's still tied at 0 with Denmark. Oh, no. This is going to be bad. This is going to be very bad. Very, very bad. But we will shift our coverage over now because, frankly, I think we're all interested in the end of that game more than whatever this game's going to end up being. Guys, it is ugly over here. USA Finland 5-1 Finns through 35 minutes of play. As that will be ruled down at the line. As we are on I believe we'll be on a power break in both games here. No, just the one. At our next power break, we will rearrange the jerseys behind us to reflect the change in the game. But as of right now, we are switching primary coverage from USA Finland over to Canada and Denmark, as this game is, I would be willing to say, a lot closer than originally anticipated today. Works in, Celebrini, another chance, denied by Henriksen. And so although we will not, Canada 1-0, it was 1-0, the goal was then called back due to an offside. As Finland will go to the power play as well over in their game. Could be 6-1 here. We'll see whether or not they can get the job done. All right, here we go. Celebrini. Oh, throws out to the point. Bouchard shoots. Misses wide. Puck will be flipped back out to center ice. 6:15 left to go in the second period. Heinola works over to Lundell. Tries to find it in the slot area. Unable to get there. Oh, no. Oh, and nearly. The Danes with a prime opportunity there, unable to capitalize. Bouncing puck. Crosby flips it in on Henriksen. The U.S. works back in short, or the U.S. team worked back in shorthanded, unable to find it through to the net though. Denmark works over Canada in the corner. Robert Thomas, the puck, passes it through, cycles it over to Nurse. Nurse shot. Good save there. Finland still with offensive zone possession time. 3 minutes left to go in their period. A little bit of that stretch pass now as the U.S. will work back in. Oh, nice play there. Pustula tried to find Erholtz on the backside, but he gets run over by Cotter. 2:40 left to go now. We will take a very quick break to rearrange our jerseys and get it into Denmark and Canada mode. We'll be back in just a second. And we are back. Denmark and Canada coverage now, as it's a very red background behind me. But should be interesting to see here which team can end up pulling through with the win, because a game we originally anticipated not to be close all of a sudden has gotten extremely close here. I get annoyed how much Finland slows down when they're in a comfortable lead. It's fair. I would say as well, though, that they're also making sure that the other team doesn't get a whole ton of chances, which is part of their system as well and part of their structure, the way that they play. So we enter the final minute in Finland and the USA. The power play is done for the Finns. The Canadians will work it around. O'Reilly with the puck, hands it off to Tavares. Tavares tries to jam it forward to O'Reilly, gets broken up. Puck will be rimmed around. Shot, rebound chance, cleared away by Montepallo. Tavares now will work in for Canada. Over to Holloway. Holloway moves it over. Celebrini tries to feed it through, but can't. Henriksen, great chance there, but unable to finish the job. Brutal. This Canadian team is not looking all that great today. Has me worried. Puck will be flipped up to center. The Danes now try and work back in. Bouchard with the puck for Canada. And we'll be on second intermission between Finland and the USA. After 2 periods of play, Finland does lead by a score of 5-1 in what we would consider to be a blowout. Oh, I have a bad feeling about this now. This is gonna be bad. If you are new here, please do smash the like button and give Canada some luck. We will also release our new poll. Shot from the point, kicked away. Your final poll results for Finland and the USA. Finland in the heavy lead, 88%, 2-12. Canada works back in. Crosby, tries to find Celebrini on the quick pass. Unable to connect, though. As taken down, and that's going to be a holding penalty on Denmark. Canada will head to the power play here. Big opportunity for them. So we have released our new poll, so be sure to go fill that out. Who do you think will win between Canada and Denmark? Canada heading to the power play. We'll see if they can capitalize on this big opportunity for them here. Puck one back to Bouchard. Passes over to Scheifele. Scheifele cross crease, picked up and carried out, and will clear the length of the ice here. .140 left to go on the power play, 2:44 left to go in this second period. Canada walking up with it, Celebrini back down to Crosby. Crosby slides it over to the point. Over to Bouchard. Bouchard gives it back to Crosby. Crosby down low. The Scheifele shot covered up there by Henriksen. 2:28 now left to go. Didn't Denmark beat Canada last year? They certainly did. If you remember back to that game, it was Canada wasn't able to score till the third period. They went up a goal, and then in the final, about 3 minutes, Denmark scored 2. One with the goalie pulled. The other one at even strength to end up the tying goal and the winning goal in a very short span, and that ended up costing Canada a chance at a medal at last year's tournament. Hoping for less of the same this year, Bouchard slides it over to Scheifele. Tries to give it over to Celebrini. Velarde loses the puck, but will get it back. Slides it up to the point to Bouchard. Bouchard over to Celebrini. Shot. Saved by Henriksen again. Same old issues all the time. They've looked extremely flat so far. If you are new here, please do smash the like button. Fill out the poll. Let me know who you think is going to end up winning. This game gets ever so much more exciting. So we'll see whether or not they're going to be able to. Denmark doing a lot of right things for sure. Yep, it's part of the beauty of it. When you play against a good team who wants to go out and beat you, they're going to come to play. It really is a miracle. Who would have thunk? Who would have thunk? 2 minutes to go in the second period. 55 seconds left to go on the Danish power play. Or on this Canadian power play. Crosby works in with it. Crosby over to Celebrini. Celebrini works back to Bouchard. Bouchard back over to Celebrini. Celebrini down low to Crosby. To Bouchard. Nice pass. Shot. Kicked away. Rebound chance. It's loose. Still loose. Crosby digging away at it, but covered up. I'm gonna lose it. Canada reminds me of Germany from yesterday. Yeah, that's actually not even that far off. They're actually going to lose this game to Denmark. We weren't live for Canada-Denmark last year. Won't be live for the quarterfinals this year either. But if Canada doesn't make it to the semifinals, I'm going to lose my mind. I'm going to actually lose my mind. That'll be two tournaments in a row now for them. They didn't make the semifinals in them. Oh my gosh, this team cannot figure it out. .132 left to go in the second period. 30 seconds left to go on the power play. Tavares with the puck for Canada. Tavares over to Holloway. Holloway back to Tavares. Tavares down low. Over to O'Reilly. O'Reilly with it now. Sends it over to Holloway. Holloway to the point to Riley. Riley walks in with it. Shoots. Saved away there. Holloway with the puck. Slides it along. Back over to Tavares. Tavares. Oh, and the puck gets kicked out. Yeah, Canada's actually about to lose to Denmark in this game. Final minute to go in the third period. Holloway with it. Shot. Saved again. Everything. It happens every year. It actually happens every year. Time after time after time. Oh my God. Is there a chance for Canada-US in the quarters? Yes, there would be. There's a few ways you get to that point. One is if the US falls to spot 4. So if Latvia goes out to beat the US, then they'd probably be in that 4th spot if they make it that far. Canada still would be the 1 seed. The fact that they beat Sweden was a big step in the right direction for them, for Canada. So there is still a likelihood of that. To be that top seed. There's also the 2nd seed if Canada loses to like the Czechs, or the Czechs lost already, so that could be an interesting one. The Slovaks could potentially jump in there as well. The Swedes could jump in there. Although Canada's hold the tiebreaker over Sweden, and they wouldn't do all that well in a potential tiebreaker scenario with 2 goals against. So I would say unlikely that would resolve itself. Passes forward, flipped up. Can't find it through. Nurse. And here comes Canada. 3 seconds to go. Connor Brown takes too long, and that'll go. Oh my God. Canada tied with Denmark 0-0 after 2 periods of play. We head into our intermission report. We're actually going to do this again. Apologize for hitting the table. Every single year we do something like this. We were live for the Sweden game. We were live for the Sweden game. We weren't live for the Slovak game, but we were live for that Sweden game at the U18s. We were live for when they lost twice And we didn't lose. We were live for the Canada-US gold medal game this year. Were we live for the World Juniors? I can't remember if we were live for the World Juniors. I don't think we were live for the World Juniors. I just need to stop streaming Canada games. I think that's the issue. Oh, they did beat Finland in the Olympics, so I guess it counts for something. Yeah, I guess we haven't actually done that many Canada streams this year. But still, win a game, please. Please. Especially against a team like Denmark, where you should win. You need to win. And you're going to lose this game anyway. Oh my goodness. This team makes me go insane. Actually insane. Do you have last year Denmark-Canada reaction? Yes, I do. It's our most viewed video of all time. Because the Canadian fan loses his mind. His mind. Oh my gosh. We're going to do this again. This is actually about to happen again. Legitimately about to happen again. Oh, the worst part is the last year, we weren't surprised by that. Like I think we actually called it in our day prior's preview that like the Danes are a very good team. They had the reinforcements with Ehlers. They should absolutely be considered contenders against the Canadian team. But this year, I don't know. This Danish team is terrible. And Canada's even worse, which is hilarious. Oh my goodness. This is going to be such a bad end to today. Oh no. Year after year of the same old garbage. At least they're going to choke in the prelims and get it out of their system before the quarters, right? Oh, wait, they just did the exact same thing at the U18s like a month ago. Less than a month ago. Oh, my goodness gracious. Okay, let's do some comments before I completely go insane. Okay. I honestly can't see the USA beating Latvia this year as well. They're an offensive-based team with not that much skill playing against a very well defensively structured team if they do end up losing it. Completely agree. I would say, though, that the US has substantially more skill than what Latvia will have, and also the comparison to Germany. I've see a few of those kind of floating around. I do think that the US has a lot more skill than the German team does, but at the same time, that's a game that it's an offensive team versus a defensive team. Very likely we could see a potential upset there, so don't be surprised, to say the least. 27-9 in shots. Jeez, poor goalie. I mean, it's a poor goalie until you end up taking it, and then it's not so poor of a goaltending situation for them. But, oh my goodness, it's actually insane. Actually insane. Canada and Finland for the finals. I'm a Canadian watching the Finland-US game in Finland. That's gotta be pretty cool. Yeah, Finland, the U.S. game. That game's got an ugly 5-1, your score at the intermission report. As what's happening right now? They've changed the Canada game right now over to highlights from other sports, which I don't really understand what I missed. Did my channel change on me? Anyway. Oh, no, now they're back to hockey. Very strange. Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Canada-Finland final, I actually could see a few different things end up happening. I could see Finland and Switzerland final. I could see Canada, Switzerland, Canada, Finland. I'd say one of those three teams will end up being the competition of the finals. I'm not sure which combination it'll be quite yet. depending on the results over in Group A, depending on who ends up taking the group, depending on a few different factors that kind of go into it. But oh my God, they're actually going to lose. Oh my goodness, they're actually going to lose. Like, legitimately, Canada's about to lose to Denmark, and we're actually going to be live for it this year. Oh my gosh, this is insane. We were live, our first, I think was it our first ever game live stream we've done on this? Was when Canada, oh no, we did the live streams back for the 2023 playoff run in the World Juniors, but like one of our first live streams we ever did on this channel for these IIHF competitions. We did a few that were like NHL based before, but like one of the very first ones we did was Czechia and Canada at the World Juniors in 2024, which was the first year that the Czechs upset Canada at that tournament. And the whole idea was we weren't going to go live for it. I wasn't planning on going live. I think this might have been during COVID or slightly after it, but there was something going on, whatever it was, and so wasn't going to go live for it, didn't plan to. And then all of a sudden, the Czechs started to jump into a lead, or maybe it was tied or whatever it was. And so for that third period, we went live, and that, in my eyes, was kind of that start of the bad luck, was the fact that we went live for a game we weren't supposed to go live for. And so it feels awfully similar to this game, where this is a game we weren't supposed to be live for. Yes, we're obviously live for Finland and the US, which was our primary game, our marquee game of the day. But now it's Canada and Denmark. And it feels awfully similar to that experience, where we, of course, ended up seeing Canada lose to the Czechs, which was the first time we saw that in, oh my goodness, a very long time. But, oh my gosh, we're doing this again. We're actually going to do this again. Oh my goodness. This is going to be bad. This is going to be bad. This is going to be very bad. Denmark for the win. Oh no. Or Denmark, I guess, yes. Yeah, this is going to be really bad. For our Star Wars friends, I have a very bad feeling about this. Okay, what else do we have? Yeah, Barkov is well rested. He is. You can see him. He looks really good out there right now. He seems very healthy, but also really quick and powerful on his edges, which is good to see after the season he's had, or I guess the season he hasn't had. So it's good to see him kind of find his groove. Feel Denmark might get tired at some point, and Canada's going to use it. You will see. I mean, there's only so much you can do if Canada keeps going northbound, but at the same time, you get into these kind of goaltending masterclass games, and for Canada, it's a possibility they lose this game. Like, it's a very realistic possibility they go out and lose this game. If you are new here, please do smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. We post a wide range of IIHF content, including watching the Canadian fan lose his mind at the Canadian national team as they lose another game at this tournament. We are just about back underway for third period action between Finland and the USA. What else do we have here? They're pushing really hard. Finland is on fire. They've been looking really good so far this tournament. I'm excited to see them play against the Swiss. That'll be their first kind of big test at this tournament. Holy, don't worry on the fly. Even if Canada loses, it won't have big implications for them. Even if they get a stronger opponent in the quarterfinal, Canada can win every opponent as well as lose to the weaker. Yeah, that's true, I guess. Obviously, if you're Canada, though, you would like to beat a team like Denmark, because it also, when you get to the semifinal rounds, you want to try and be as high up as possible to avoid having to go out and play a team like the Finns or a team like Switzerland in that semifinal round, and instead get the easier opponent. So there is a little bit to play for, but obviously, yes, you are right that it doesn't really matter too much in the grand scheme of things. Yeah, Kohli is building a great Chinese wall. Yeah. Something along those lines. It is better to get a cold bath now than in the playoffs. True. I'd rather definitely blow that start. I think a Finland-Switzerland final seems somewhat possible at that point. Finland. Yeah, I would agree. If Canada ends up losing today's games, Finland and Switzerland will be my new likely final. Because I do believe that the Swiss can beat Canada pretty easily. Not easily, but it'll be a tight game between the two, but I do think that Switzerland would come out on top. We predicted that actually in our video. As periods back underway between Finland and the USA for third period action. Shot over the net. Sadly, Vakanainen has been injured. Has he been? That's not good for the Finns. Be a big loss for them. What else do we have here? Thanks, Finland, Sweden. How do you feel about Czechia, Sweden in the evening? We'll be live for that game here on YouTube. I'm very excited for that one. I think that'll be probably our best game of the day. I thought this US-Finland one would have been, but I'm excited to see what the Swedes and the Czechs can end up doing in our other marquee matchup of the day. And who knows, maybe we'll be... and a huge hit there. Holy. Nice there. Caught her with the puck for the Americans. What else we have? Will we get some Gretzky Cup videos? We can definitely do that if that's something that people are interested in. We haven't done it in the past, so we'll have to work out some logistics for it. But yeah, absolutely. If people want to see Hlinka Gretzky coverage, I'm more than happy to post it. It's in our international niche, so yeah, for sure we can definitely post that if that's what people do want to see here. Well, we can post a poll as well on our channel. I have a feeling I know what the answer is going to be, but I was planning on doing some coverage for it through our podcast. But if you'd like to see these day recap videos as well for that tournament, obviously it's in August, so there's not much hockey going on at that point, but more than happy to definitely post about it. Granlund is coming for Finland. Yep, sure is. Dude is losing himself. You've seen nothing yet. If you think I'm losing it now, wait for like 10 minutes into this period when they're still tied. Sweden coming to the finals? Potentially. Like the Swedes would be the other team I could see doing it. I don't see the U.S. I don't think the Czechs will be good enough this year. If they can get goaltending, there's a chance. But their goaltending for me is just too weak at this point in time for them to be considered a contender. And so for that reason, I am going to take them there. Yeah, Czechia has some great U18s, U20, so I'm excited about their introduction to seniors for sure. And it's a very bright future for the Czech program. We'll see kind of as they continue to go forward whether or not they are going to eventually be able to kind of find their way through. Should be interesting. Sweden unlikely will make it to the finals. Potentially. We'll see. I think the Swedes are kind of that bubble team where if there's any other team that's going to sneak in, it'd be the Swedes, but very likely you'll see it be one of those kind of big teams who end up there at the end of this tournament. Who's the little bro? Learns our language in Finland. Don't despair. Finland learns our language in school. You mean they teach Canadian language? Who was in net for Canada last year? Who was in net for Canada last year at the World Championships or at the Olympics? Or are you asking probably about the Danish game, I would assume, right? If I had to guess, probably. Yeah, I'd assume you're asking about the game against Denmark for Canada. I believe it was Binnington. Let me just quickly double check that. It was Jordan Binnington in net. Yeah, it was an absolute collapse at the very last minute of that game. Really close throughout, and unfortunately just kind of lost it at the end. Finland learns our language. Sweden. Yeah, but in Sweden. I live in Finland. As a Czech, I hope Denmark pulls off an upset here. Imagine losing to an inferior opposition can never happen to us. It is funny because we were talking about it, what was it, yesterday or the day before? I guess probably day two's recap video for that Slovenia-Czechia game, because I would say that loss was probably one of the biggest upsets since Latvia pulled off the win against Canada at the World Juniors. Like, it makes you think. We were actually at that game live for when Canada lost, but that was a disappointing end in that shootout. I was 1% picked Vakanainen in a fantasy game. I hope he's okay. That's a tough one. And a penalty upcoming for Finland and USA. I'm not sure who got it. I would assume, looks like the US might be getting it. Back to Canada, Denmark. Upset incoming. Please no, please no. Good luck, Canada. My heart is with you. How have Stenberg and Bjork been playing? Stenberg has looked really good at the senior level. He's looked much better than he did at the World Junior campaign. I thought he was actually fairly poor at that World Junior campaign. He racked up a lot of points, but the way he was playing wasn't all that great. This World Championship campaign, he's picked it up substantially and has looked a lot better. I've actually enjoyed his game quite a bit at this tournament, and he'll definitely earn some of his draft stock here. Not necessarily enough, at least in my eyes, to get himself to that top spot as of yet. We are also just 2 games into this tournament for the Swedes, but we will see coming up in their game against the Czechs as a power play actually upcoming for the U.S. We'll see, of course, what ends up happening there. Bjork, on the other side, has looked a little bit shaky to start this tournament. He's starting to settle in a little bit now, but he is concerning me a little. Is that another penalty? It'll be a 5-on-3 power play for the U.S. now, where they'll look to try and bring themselves back within in this game. Canada is about to get back up underway. Bjork did 1 goal against Germany yesterday. Yeah, he scored against Denmark yesterday. He scored the first goal by a U18 player at the World Championship level for the Swedes. Scores. Ryan Leonard with the goal, 5-2. USA will still remain on the power play. And all of a sudden, we got ourselves an interesting game. We are back underway for third period action between Canada and Denmark. Celebrini works in. Celebrini with a chance, drives, shot. Oh, and a great block shot there to keep the puck out. Celebrini works in again, finds Crosby, or Martone, shot, scores! Porter Martone scores for Canada to make it a 1-0 game. The Demons will hold off for at least a little bit longer. Canada 1, Denmark 0. Oh, thank goodness. They're not going to choke it today. At least we'll see. Obviously, it's still early, and maybe, who knows, maybe the Finns are about to go choke their game now. USA just scored, so haha. And an offensive zone time from the Canadian team. Walks all over the Danes. They're trying to get a little bit too aggressive. And this is where you see the Canadians just absolutely pull away on this game. Once you get the first goal, the rest of them follow. We tend to see that as a pretty common theme, especially at these tournaments. But the fact that it's this close is scary. Leonard walks over the line. Oh, nice pass out there. Backdoor shot. Look for the back foot. And Denmark now works in shot. Oh my goodness, Greaves almost thought Greaves missed it. Wasn't confident on where it was, at least. Denmark walks the line. Shot. Broken stick. It completely explodes in his hands. Blichfeld. Back to Setkov. Danish team works in their own end. We'll look up ice. Larson with the puck for Denmark. Kasper Larson for Denmark will look up ice now. Pass up top. We'll dump it in for the Danes. More shot. Rebound chance. Oh, it nearly goes in there. The U.S. still on their power play. It is coming to an end now, though. Works in. Oh, nice sauce pass there to Lowry. Oh, towards the backside feed. That'll do it for the power play here. Olivier walks in with it. Shot. Clear away. Connor Brown throws on the brakes. Over to Dylan Cousins. Cousins works in with it. Cousins walks the line. Throws it around. Down for Darnell Nurse. Oh, nice play there. Shot. Minton with the opportunity does not go in. as Denmark now will work back up ice, or try to at the very least. From works in for the Danes. Kyer fires it around the boards. Danish forward worked over there. Minton plays it back to his defense with Whitecloud. Pass up to Cousins. The Danes now will work back up in. Connor Brown sends it back to his defenseman. Bouchard fires it over. Wotherspoon shot, blocked away. Thomas to slot. Shifley's shot hits over the thing. Just got home from work. What is going on with Denmark and Canada again? Yep. Your words, the same as mine. It's the reason why this game is... And they score. Gabriel Velarde, wearing number 13 for Canada, scores for them to make it 2-0. Now this game gets out of hand. It's about time. Only took them half the game to get there. Canada 2, Denmark 0. As we get to feel a little bit more relief, we will see if there's going to be anything else coming today. Finland 5, USA in number 2. A little bit of extracurricular going on after the whistle. Oh, nice play by Velarde. Put the puck on between Poulsen's stick. And then snipes at top shelf. Canada 2, Denmark 0, Finland 5, USA 2. Okay, a little bit nicer now. We can breathe. We can breathe. We can breathe. We can breathe. Everything is okay. Everything's okay. Nurse now back for Canada. Takes the puck. And out comes Canada now with it. Celebrini walks in, drops it off for Crosby. Crosby back feeds, shot, scores. Denton Mateychuk with the goal makes it 3-0 Canada. And the floodgates have opened. We talk about the tumbling snowball quite a bit on this channel. This is a pretty good example of that. Denton Mateychuk scores for the Canadian team. And Finland scores. Anton Lundell on the power play. 6-2 for Team Finland. Oh, and these games get a little bit less, whole lot less exciting, which, as a Canadian, I don't mind. I really don't mind at all. Oh my goodness, at least they're not going to choke this year. That could have been extremely bad. Very, very bad it could have been. As Denmark will call a timeout, try and settle things down a little bit. Let's see what our poll is currently sitting at. We haven't checked that yet. I would presume it'll be in favor of, it's not that favor of Canada. 70 votes registered, 56% for Canada, 44% for the Danes. A pretty even split there between those two teams. Shot over the net. And up come Finland now. Another opportunity. Shot. Turned away by Cooley. Lundell, the scorer of that last goal on the power play, was unassisted. Larson now for the Danes. Look up ice. Puck will be flipped out. DeMello gets the puck picked off him. Cycles it around. Look for the backdoor feed. Unable to get there. USA, you are a complete disappointment this year. They really have been. It's been a tough go for them so far. At this tournament, and we're going to see them play against Latvia, which will be a huge game. That's coming up. It's not anytime soon, but the game against Latvia, I think they could very well lose. The game against the Germans is another one. You never really know. Should be interesting. Congrats on 2,000 subs. Thank you very much. Appreciate everyone for subscribing. If you have not already, come join our international hockey community and smash that subscribe button. As well, we'll be rolling out with our international hockey podcast at some point over the next little bit. I'm not entirely sure when our next one will be quite yet. We'll be doing those throughout the off season. We'll be recapping every single team. Last year we did a few of them and unfortunately just couldn't quite keep going. This year plans are to do every single participating country at a IIHF tournament. So we're going to see how that ends up going. There's going to be some teams that are only in one tournament or one or two tournaments, so it'll be shorter segments, but that is kind of the plan for the off season. So you'll be getting to see teams like Uzbekistan's international hockey recap year. So stay tuned for that. We'll talk a little bit more about each respective team, especially in the lower divisions, to make sure every country gets their representation here. I woke up late, so I've missed a bit, but let's go Canada. You have missed a lot, actually. It has been a pretty crazy start to this game for Canada and Denmark. It actually is part of the reason why they are now our marquee matchup, as it was tied 0-0 going into our third period. However, very quickly, Canada has been able to respond in kind, scoring 3 quick goals to kick off this third period. Under 15 to play in between Canada and Denmark. 10:30 left to go in Finland and the USA. Coronado throws it out front. 6-2 your score for Finland and the USA, game that was expected to be tight coming into the day. All of a sudden, thank you very much for subscribing. This puck walks in. Coronado's shot. Blocked away by Anderson. Coronado fires it over. Lindgren sends it across. Coronado. Why has Denmark got so many votes? I think a lot of people were hoping for an upset. And we also posted that poll kind of in that third period range where it was still tied 0-0, so that could potentially have something to do with it. Greaves plays the puck into the corner. We'll be having a little bit more balanced coverage now. Olivier looking at the backdoor slide. Over in Canada, Denmark. Puck fired in. Scheifele near the puck. Unable to get there. Scheifele holds on to it. Throws it over to Bouchard. Bouchard rims it around to Velarde. The amount of times I've called Velarde Barzell in this game is probably quite a few. And I do apologize for that, but they wear the same number on the Canadian team. Scheifele shot, saved. Latvia can be a danger for sure. Yeah, but Germany seems very weak this year, despite having good players as well. Austria is Austria, as much as I love my neighbors. Austria's a weird team at this tournament. I see some people kind of arguing about their status at this tournament. The team with Austria is like, they have some good talent on their team where if they get hot and they play a good team game, they can absolutely beat a team like Latvia. But at the same time, they're not as skilled as some of the other teams. And so when they play against Germany, I think that'll be a tough game for them. We talked about it yesterday, but their goal is just not to lose by a lot of goals. And so if they can do that, they will be okay heading into a tiebreaker game against the Latvians, where if you're Austria, you'd be content with the fact that all you need to do is outscore whatever you get scored on with against the German team. We'll see whether or not they're going to be able to get the job there, but I think they'll be okay and pretty content with that. Scramble out front in the U.S. and the Finnish net. The U.S. trying to find the rebound. Puck will come out. Steves with the puck for the Americans. 8:15 left to go now in this third period. Steves orb it around. Down to Leonard. Leonard holds onto the puck. Skips it around. And the puck will come down and out of play. 8:04 left to go in the third period between Finland and the USA. Finland in the lead, 6-2 your score. Over in Canada, Denmark, 13:20 left to go in the third period. Canada in the lead, 3-0. Velarde tries to go through the legs, unable to do so. Puck will be shelled out and go the length of the ice for icing. A reminder that we'll be live later today for some pretty good games. Germany and Switzerland in a huge game over in Group A, as well as a huge game over in Group B between Sweden and the Czechs, our marquee matchup of the day. So if you are looking for the thumbnail for that, it will be Sweden and the Czechs. So keep an eye out for that. That will be going live at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. That will be 8:20 p.m. Central European Time, and then 9:20 p.m. Eastern European Time for that game. Stay tuned. Lots of coverage as well coming out through the rest of the day with our day recap video, which will be out later on tonight. So stay tuned for that. Should be a good one. Velarde. Don't call me Barzell. White Cloud, good keep in there. Matejchuk works down low. Scheifele to Thomas. Back to Matejchuk. Matejchuk shuffles down low to Velarde. Over to Thomas. Thomas, oh, nice reverse hit there. The Dane's very tired. Velarde works on in. You can tell this Danish team has just lost all their gas in this game. Just holding on as best they can for dear life. .12:05 left to go in the third period. Canada in the lead, 3-0. Finland, 6-2 over Team USA. Celebrini works in for Canada. Celebrini now to the point, shot. Deflected up. Crosby with the puck. Throws on the brakes. Oh, and a nice saucer pass there by Crosby to Wotherspoon. Unable to capitalize on the chance. Martone. Nice little saucer pass down to Wotherspoon. Looks to the backdoor of jam play with Henriksen all the way out of his net. Bouchard picks up the puck for Canada. Drops it off. Here comes Martone. Nice cut through. Cut back into the middle of the ice, but good turn away save there by Henriksen. Wotherspoon throws it down to Celebrini. Celebrini works right back in. Celebrini throws it down for Martone. Danish team extremely tired right now. Long shift for them. Crosby with the puck. Feeds it off to Martone. Martone throw it up to the point. Kept in at the line. Bouchard now. Bouchard feeds it over to Celebrini. Celebrini will try and dump it down deep. The Danes will throw it around the boards, but kept in at the line by Bouchard. Bouchard waits. Feeds it backside. Looking for the streaking player, but cannot find him. Bouchard again at the line. Ends up losing the puck. And Canada will work back in, though. Bouchard with the puck. Will dump it down deep. A lot of offensive zone pressure right now for this Canadian team. As Holloway with the puck ends up getting taken away, which will allow this Danish team to change. DeMello up the line to Riley. Shot misses wide of the net. Riley with the puck. Works on in. Denmark will move down. Passes across. Weird bouncing play. Greaves covers up with his blocker. A little bit of a testy moment there. We had to do a power break over in Canada, and Denmark will check back in on Finland and the USA. Still 6-2 win or 6-2 lead for the Finns in this game. We'll see whether they can continue to hold this lead as this game does go along. 6:03 left to go in the third period. For the Finns, this will be a big win for them. I think of the implications for the top half of the standings over in Group A. Now the only team they really have to go out and beat is Switzerland to end up in that top group. Or top of the group. They also have to beat some of the lower end teams, but you look at the way that this Finnish team is composed, they shouldn't have too much of a problem doing so on that account. That'll be offside. 5:39 left to go in the third period between Finland and the USA. Puck will be ruled for offside as we'll head to a power break in both games, which is a good reminder to what's a good reminder for? Oh, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button if you have not already. We did just hit 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube, so a big thank you to everyone for smashing that subscribe button, hitting the like button. It's been a really good tournament so far. We've achieved some record viewership so far, and our predictions have done incredibly well, which is also a sign of good things to come for us here. A bit of a miracle, if I do say so myself, after what has been after a pretty tough international year thus far for us, for our predictions, especially after the U18 tournament, in which they took a look at my predictions and said, yeah, we're going to do the exact opposite in basically half the games at that tournament. So it was good to see kind of those predictions end up finding their way back. Oh, and Denmark now works in shot scores. Oh no, not again. Please no. Olesen with the goal for Denmark. A cutback across the crease, and the Canadians nowhere to be found. It's now 3-1. Uh-oh. I got a bad feeling about this. I hope that isn't too loud. I don't actually know. Ogar over to Olesen, and Nurse ties up the wrong guy. As Olesen just walks all the way through the crease and deposits it into the net. Canada 3, Denmark 1. Uh-oh. Not good at all. Be sure to let me know who you think is going to win. If Denmark can end up coming back, vote in our poll. I got a very bad feeling about this now. This is going to be ugly. Puck rimmed around. Does this sound familiar? Canada goes up early in the third period. The Danes rally back and end up taking the game. Oh, where have I seen that before? Oh, that's right. It was last year. Currently in our poll, 62% of people say Canada will win, 38% for the Danes. Puck moved up, saucered out. Worked in, shot deflected. Where's the puck? Oh, and Visa on the backside there. I thought tipped it into the net. Scared me there for a second. My country doesn't show Canada versus Denmark on television. 3-1. Dang, that feels unreal. Not good at all. Funny enough, it was actually 3-0 through, or 0-0 through at the end of the third period. And so that was even more strange than I'd say the other one, than the fact the score is right now. I'm an Oilers fan. I've seen Nurse do that a few times. Yeah, you know what? Fair enough. That is very fair. Canada works in. Martone with the opportunity. Denied. .8:43 left to go. Crosby with the puck. Oh, a nice tap pass there over to Celebrini. The shot turned away by Henriksson. Martone moves it up to Crosby. Crosby picks it in. Crosby will move it around to Martone. Martone over to Bouchard. Bouchard with the puck. Slides it over to Martone. Martone to Crosby. Crosby. Martone tries to play a little interference. Luckily, he didn't hit him there. Crosby with the puck. Slides it out to O'Reilly with the goal. Canada 4, Denmark 1. 8:11 left to go in the third period. A little bit of insurance now for this Canadian team. Lowry moves in. 6-2 still the score between Finland and the USA. Canada 4. They score their fourth. The Ryan O'Reilly goal. That'll be his third goal of this tournament. A good shot from him, left wide alone in front of the net. And Canada finds themselves 4-1 in this game. I think in our predictions we had 5-1, if memory serves, Canada over the Danes. And then we had 4-2 Finland over the USA. So I was worried that Canada was going to strike in the third period, and well, they did. They did it with quite a few goals. Luckily, fortunately, we don't have to be angry, screaming, yelling Canadian fan for this point in the tournament. You'll have to wait a little bit longer for that one to come out, which, if they don't win gold this year, whether they lose in the semis or the finals, I have a lot of words I want to use for this Canadian international year. So if you enjoy people screaming on YouTube be sure to smash that subscribe button. Puck moved up. Saucers it across. Moves it over. Puck played back. Nurse first on it for the Canadian team. Ends up losing it. Kyer for the Danes. But Nurse comes back in a good defensive effort there. Fun fact, Ryan O'Reilly has worn 4 different numbers playing for Canada, 9, 37, 79, and 90. The only player I'm aware of who has worn 4 numbers internationally. Fact provided by Nick the IIHF fan. A great follow over on Twitter if you have not already. Cousins now for the Canadian team. Should I bring back questions segment for our day recap videos? I realize I've kind of completely missed those over the last few. Would you guys want to see a question period come back so you could ask your questions and we could answer them on our day recap videos? Those day recap videos are extremely long as is, and so I can also understand if you don't. But curious general feedback. So work in, shot. Good turn away, save there by Greaves. Puck moved up. Minton shifts it up. Connor Brown works in. Brown throws on the brakes, looking for Minton on the backside. No good. Denmark works back up on the offensive rush. Pass broken up. 4 minutes now left to go. Which NHL team do I support? I support the Boston Bruins, a little bit different than my Canadian allegiance, but oh, and a nice play there, man. Manninen with a good opportunity there for the Finns, but unable to bury it. This game remains 6-2, Team Finland. Manninen again with the opportunity. Walks in. Thomas wins the face-off, draw back for Nurse. Puck flipped out. And Thomas now with the puck. Oh, he works in with a little bit of burst of speed. Thomas, nice saucer pass over to Whitecloud. Whitecloud down low. Over to Scheifele. He throws on the brakes, turns it on a dime. Over to Thomas. Shot. Good save by Henriksen. Be sure to smash that like button and hit subscribe if you have not already. We did just hit 2,000 subscribers here on YouTube, so big thank you once again to everybody for smashing that subscribe button. Could not have done it without you guys. Barkey is taking the Finns to the promised land, and with some reinforcements as well with Granlund coming in. I'm excited to see what he can do for this team. I wouldn't have guessed Boston. That's fair. So the Finns, 2:30 left to go in their game. Don't expect the U.S. to try and pull their goaltender here. It is extremely important for goal differential for Finland now, as if they enter in, well, I guess they won't enter in a 3-way tiebreaker, but you think about potential later on where if they end up winning all their games and Canada does too, then all of a sudden they get into that tiebreaker for who gets the easier seed in the semifinals. You'd much rather play a team like a Sweden, team like a who else is in there? Like a Czechia, a US, than have to go through a real tough team, say like a Canada or a Switzerland in that semifinal round, an easier path to get to the medals at this tournament. We'll see whether or not they end up doing it. Shot, misses wide. Both clocks continuing to tick down on both these teams. Canada leading Denmark 4-1, 5:35 left to go in the third period. Oh, Kaiser just put a stick through the guy's nose. Scheifele over to Velarde. I almost called him Barzell again. It always takes me like a solid couple games before I can actually remember that these players are all different from last year, but also from the Olympics. Makes me laugh. Shot. Blocked out. Olsen. Passes it down. What kind of game do you expect between Germany and Switzerland, offensive or no? I would assume it would be offensive. The Swiss haven't exactly shown that they're going to be a defensive team at this tournament. They tried it against the Latvians. So did Germany, actually, and both teams kind of struggled. So I expect it to be a pretty offensive game through and through. Both teams have very good goaltenders, though, and so I would suspect that they will be responsible in their own end, or at least responsible enough to kind of end up taking the day if the game does get tight. But it will be an interesting game for sure. Final 30 seconds here between Finland and the USA. This game is just about final here. Over in the other side, Canada and Denmark. 4 minutes left to go. We'll see whether the Danes have any last kind of heroics. We did have 5-1 as our final prediction, so we will see whether or not that prediction can come true. Puck will be moved up ice into the neutral zone. Offside called. Finland and the USA. 6 seconds left to go in that one. What I am slightly confused is how representative the current Canada, in particular USA teams are. As far as the best players there, it's very scarce. Like if you look at the comparison from the Olympics to the World Championships, Canada has 2 players who are over. They had 3 before there was an injury. They had 2 players, and over for the US, they only have 1. So US-Finland has turned final. Finland takes home a huge 6-2 win over Team USA, which is a huge step in the right direction for them as they now try and continue. Denmark has pulled their goaltender here, which is a bit interesting, but I guess you might as well try it. It's going to get us a lot closer to that 5-1 prediction we made at the start of the day. Not to say we called it, but we did call it. We've actually had some really good games so far this tournament with our predictions. Quite a few right scores as well. Nice pass there. Moves it over to Holloway. You got a Danish player trying to play goalie right now. Slides it over. Tavares tries to jam it through. Bouchard fakes the slap shot. Moves it over. 3:03 left to go now in the period. Danes will collect it in their own end. Moves it over. Up comes Denmark. From throws it across the ice. And a nice move there. Slides it over. From shot. Saved by Greaves. 2:34 left to go in this third period. USA-Finland turned final. 6-2 your final over there. We are in the final moments of the game between Denmark and Canada. It was a pretty close game through and through. Part of the reason why this game has turned into our marquee game of the day is because Denmark and Canada were tied through 2 periods of play, for Canada was able to jump out to 3 quick goals to kind of lead the charge. In this one, Denmark then responded. Canada responded with one of their own shortly thereafter. 4-1 your lead for Canada with 2:25 left to go in this third period. The goaltender has been pulled for the Danes. Connor Brown works in for Canada, misses just wide of the net. Denmark now will work up. Goaltender still pulled. 2:05 left to play. Danes work it behind the net. And the puck comes out to neutral ice, unable to keep it at the line. And here comes Denmark again. Fires it down deep. Greaves out to play it. Oh, I thought he might go for the goalie goal. Scheifele with a nice little play there, but the puck will kick out of play. Kind of surprised Greaves wouldn't have gone for the goalie goal, up 3 goals in this game. Potentially didn't feel like he had it in him, but it's the kind of opportunity you don't get very often, and so you tend to see goaltenders try and take it when those opportunities present itself. It's so annoying to me. It's annoying to me so much that TSN doesn't let us see the players of the game. It is pretty annoying. I'll give you that. Suomi takes the win. We have a Suomi. Well done, Suomi. What do you think about Sweden versus Czechia today? I am very excited for that game. We'll be live once again here on YouTube for that one, where it'll be a nice little dogfight type of game. Scheifele now works in for Canada, tries to feed it over, gets the puck knocked off him. Thomas will fire it in for Canada. So it'll be cleared out. Scheifele tries to be first on it. Thomas now for Canada, passes it over to Scheifele. Shot. Oh, and blocked away though. 1:25 left to go in this period. Still unable to put the puck in the empty net as Canada. As Denmark now will work back in. Imagine if that goal comes back to bite them. Right as I say that too. About 1:10 left to go in the third period. Canada well in the lead and on top. A good start for them. A rough start to this game for them, but it got progressively better, especially at the start of this third period. Jumped out to 3 very quick goals. Scheifele hits it off Olsen's skate on that last chance, where Olsen, playing goaltender, able to protect from the empty net going in. But Sweden Czechia today should be a really good one. The slight edge does go to the Swedes, but honestly, I could see this game going either way. Puck comes up. Out to the point. Shot. Good save there by Greaves. Bouchard wins the puck over to O'Reilly. Knocked down by the ref. Puck moved over. O'Reilly shifts it up to Tavares. Good hit there. Crosby will work up ice. Oh, the goaltender's back in for Denmark. Playing for, I guess, goal differential maybe. But goaltender is no longer pulled. And that likely will spell the end for our hopes with a 5-1 final today. We were close. Shot. Oh, and scores! Parker Wotherspoon makes it a 5-1 game for Canada, as our predictions are now right. And I'll be honest, as of the intermission part, I was not as confident that we'd be seeing this score in the slightest. But hey, they don't ask about how, they ask about how many. And at the end of the day, Canada does walk away with the most likely, assuming barring any last minute craziness, the 5-1 win. Final about 30 seconds left to go in this game. We'll see what the exact timing is on that goal. But Parker Wotherspoon scores for Canada to make it 5-1 with 28.8 seconds left to go in the period. This clock will slowly but surely tick out on what has been a strange game for this Canadian team, being down by 3 goals, or being tied then through 2 periods of play, then scoring 3 quick goals at the start of the third period. We now see them in the end take home the 5-1 win, as this game has turned final. A big win for Canada today as they right the ship from last year, knocking out their demons today, beating Team Denmark 5-1. Oh, wow, they've actually finally won. Look at that. It is a miracle. Halfway through this game, a lot more nervous than we are now, but Canada pulls through with the win, 5-1 your final over Team Denmark. Finland knocks off Team USA 6-2 in our original marquee matchup of the day. A dominant win from this Finnish team, and a much better performance towards the end by the Canadians. It's amazing what happens when you have good coaching who can light a fire underneath you. And now we see what they are really capable of. 38 to, I believe that's either 16 or 10, your final shots for Canada against the Danes today. In general, I have a feeling that all European teams are significantly more better prepared before the championships. The preparation might be more or less successful, like that of the German team. It is fair. I think part of it, too, is European teams prioritize this tournament a lot more. North America, this tournament is not unpopular, but it's not the most popular tournament even happening right now. I'd say there's kind of two comparable tournaments. One is the CHL playoffs, which is like the junior league here in Canada. And the other one's obviously the NHL playoffs, which are a lot bigger in North America than the IIHF for this World Championship campaign. And so it's a bit of, it's not as big here, but still unfortunate that it is growing though. And I'll say the World Championship tournament, every year you get to see a new team kind of going in to compete, but as far as kind of those key viewership stats go, not necessarily the most important tournament for Canadians and Americans alike. As Sidney Crosby, the player of the game for Team Canada, Nikolai Henriksen, the player of the game for Team Denmark. The goaltender for Team Denmark, and Sidney Crosby, the alternate captain, still feels weird for Team Canada there. Do you think more shots and offense will be in Sweden Czech game or Germany and Swiss? I'd say we talked about it a little bit yesterday. So there's two versions of this game that you can see. Germany and Switzerland should be the more offensive type of game, but Sweden and the Czechs will be offensive in its own right. It'll come down to their goaltending. If the Czechs can get good goaltending, expect the German-Swiss game to end up being the more offensive one. But if the Czechs kind of have goaltending that lives up to expectation, expect the Swiss and the Czechs to be that kind of higher scoring game. European leagues always finish in time for this tournament. The NHL does not. That's why mostly Canada and the US have the limitations they do for roster selection. That is true, but it also kind of applies for every other team at this tournament as well. You think about all the other teams who had more or less full NHL teams at this tournament. Fortunately for them today, they pull through with the win. Sid deserves the best player of the game. He sure does, especially after today. And he's been a huge part for this Canadian team. It's been good to see them really kind of take it home. I hope Czechia can catch a break tonight. We'll see. It'll be a tough game for them. Once again, that's coming up at 2:20 p.m. Eastern Time. That will be 8:20 p.m. Central European Time and 9:20 p.m. Eastern European Time. Be sure to tune in for that live stream. We'll be going live 10 minutes prior to puck drop. So please do smash the subscribe button, hit the notification bell so you are notified when we do go live later today. As a reminder, this will be our last live stream of this week. We will hopefully be live once again on Saturday. Stay tuned for our day recap videos, though. Those will be being posted around midnight Eastern Time, 6 a.m. Central European, and 7 a.m. Eastern European Time there. Every league has been finished for a while now. Should have placed a bet on 5-1. Really should have. I think I've actually had quite a few correct scores so far in this tournament, which is surprising because typically the teams tend to be right, but the scores aren't. But this year, at this World Championship tournament in particular, we've had a very good run so far. We'll see if we can keep it going with a very high-scoring game we had between Czechia and Sweden, and Switzerland and Germany. Both will be extremely good games later today. Thank you very much for subscribing. But that is going to do it for today. A big thank you for everyone for tuning in to the live stream here. If you made it this far in the live stream, thank you very much for watching. If you liked it, drop a like. If you really liked it, consider subscribing and tell all your friends that Canada has ridden off the demons and beaten Team Denmark. Thank you very much, and until next time, see ya.